Winner's high. Positive prediction error. The best shots in tennis don't just feel good, they feel better than winning. And there's a reason for that. Your brain is wired to get high on surprise. In 1997, neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz published a landmark paper in Science that changed how we understand reward. He discovered that dopamine, the brain's motivation chemical, doesn't spike when you get what you expect. It spikes when you get something better than you expected. He called it a positive prediction error. Here's how it works on the court. Carlos Alcaraz is sprinting wide, stretched to his absolute limit, 3 feet outside the doubles alley. His brain is doing instant math, low percentage shot, defensive position, opponent controlling the net, body off balance. The prediction? He's losing this point. Then he slides, plants his outside foot, and rips a backhand down the line at 85 miles per hour that clips the line by millimeters. The crowd erupts. His face lights up in pure disbelief. His opponent freezes, racket still raised. That's not just adrenaline. That's a massive dopamine flood triggered by the gap between what his brain predicted, a lost point, and what actually happened. A clean winner. The bigger the gap between expectation and outcome, the bigger the neurochemical reward. Roger Federer built a 20-year career on this. Novak Djokovic turns defense into offense with it. Every time a player hits a shot that defies the geometry of the court, their brain doesn't just register success, it registers surprise. And surprise is the real drug. Kent Berridge's research at the University of Michigan in 2003 proved something crucial. Dopamine doesn't create pleasure, it creates wanting. It's the neurochemical of motivation, craving, and pursuit. And what you want most after hitting one impossible winner, the feeling of doing it again. That shot gets encoded in your memory with a giant neon sign that says, "Do this more." But here's the thing, those impossible winners don't happen every time. And that's exactly what makes tennis so addictive. The slot machine effect, variable ratio rewards. Your brain isn't hooked on winning, it's hooked on the chance of winning. And tennis operates on the exact same reward system as a Las Vegas slot machine. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner ran a series of experiments that changed behavioral science forever. He put rats in boxes with levers and tested different reward schedules. He found that if you reward a behavior every single time, the animal learns quickly, but loses interest fast. If you reward it randomly, on an unpredictable schedule, the behavior becomes almost impossible to stop. He called it a variable ratio schedule, and it's the most powerful reinforcement pattern ever discovered. Casinos have been using it for 70 years. On a tennis court, you're playing that same game. You're not rewarded for every shot you hit. A rally might go 10 strokes, 15, 20, then you lose on a net cord that kisses the tape and dies on your side. Next point, you win in 3 shots with a service winner. The point after that, you fight through 6 deuces, save 3 break points, and finally hold serve after 12 minutes. The outcome is always uncertain, and that uncertainty floods your brain with dopamine. Wolfram Schultz proved this in his 1997 Science paper. He showed that dopamine neurons don't just fire when you get a reward. They fire hardest when the reward is unpredictable. Certainty is boring. Uncertainty is addictive. On the ATP Tour, players convert only about 40% of their breakpoint opportunities. That means 6 out of 10 times, you fight for the break and lose. But those 4 times you convert, they feel incredible. Your brain craves that next jackpot, point after point, game after game, until you physically can't walk away. If you are loving this video, please click the hype button on your mobile screen and help us to reach out to more tennis fans. Done? Let's continue. Tension release loop, cortisol, endocannabinoids. When the stakes get higher, your body doesn't just feel tension, it manufactures it on purpose. Because tennis isn't addictive in spite of the stress, it's addictive because of it. Here's what happens in a high-pressure moment. Your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Your heart rate climbs from 70 beats per minute to 140, then 160. Your palms sweat, your breathing gets shallow, your brain is screaming for resolution, and the longer the tension lasts, the more desperate your system becomes to clear it. That desperation is the setup. The payoff comes when the point finally ends. July 6, 2008, Wimbledon Center Court. Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer are locked in the 4th set tiebreak of what many call the greatest match ever played. They've been on court for nearly 4 hours. The score is 6-6 in the breaker, then 7-7, then 8-8. Every point feels like sudden death. Nadal saves a set point. Federer saves 2. The tension is unbearable. Not just for them, but for the 15,000 people in the stadium and the millions watching worldwide. Finally, at 10-8, Nadal crushes a forehand that Federer can't handle. The breaker is over. Nadal collapses to the grass. The release is instant and overwhelming. What just happened in his brain? The moment the stress resolves, his body floods with endocannabinoids, the same bliss molecules that create a runner's high, along with endorphins and serotonin. A 2003 study by Sparling published in Neuroscience showed that acute stress followed by relief triggers one of the most powerful neurochemical rewards the human body can produce. The higher the cortisol, the bigger the release. Tennis doesn't just let you experience stress. It teaches your brain that stress is worth it, because the euphoria on the other side is unmatched. Tiebreaks, breakpoints, 5-set finals, they're not bugs in the system, they're features. Your brain craves the release so much that it will voluntarily walk back into the stress over and over, just to feel that moment of resolution again. Flow state, transient hypofrontality. There's a moment in tennis when thinking stops, when doubt disappears, when every shot feels automatic, effortless, and perfect. Players call it the zone. Neuroscientists call it transient hypofrontality, and it might be the most addictive feeling in all of sports. Here's what's happening. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, self-criticism, decision-making, and conscious thought, temporarily powers down. In 2003, Arne Dietrich published research showing that during intense physical and mental flow states, the brain reduces activity in this region to let deeply trained motor programs take over. You stop thinking about your footwork, your grip, your swing path, your opponent's position. Your body just knows. Novak Djokovic is down 0-4 in the third set of the 2021 French Open final against Stefanos Tsitsipas. He's been struggling, overthinking, forcing shots, making uncharacteristic errors. His face is tight, his movement looks heavy. Then something shifts. He stops trying to control the match and starts playing on pure instinct. He wins the next 6 games without dropping one. His face is calm, his movement is effortless. He's not thinking, he's flowing. By the end of the match, he's won in 5 sets and claimed his 19th Grand Slam title. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent decades studying this state and found that people describe it as one of the most satisfying experiences of their lives. It's not just about performance, it's about the feeling of losing yourself completely in the task, what he called flow. Time distorts, self-consciousness vanishes, action and awareness merge into one seamless experience. Once you've been there, you'll do anything to get back. But you're not chasing flow alone. There's another force pulling you back to the court, and it has nothing to do with your own performance. If you are loving this video, subscribe to our channel and help us reach 5,000 subs by month's end. Social status and crowd reward, ventral striatum. Winning a point feels good. Winning a point in front of 10,000 people feels transcendent. And that's because your brain doesn't just process victory, it processes status. Deep in your brain sits the ventral striatum, a region that lights up when you gain social rank, receive public approval, or win in front of others. In 2008, Caroline Zink published a study in the journal Neurons showing that this area activates far more powerfully when you win in a social context than when you win alone. Applause isn't just noise, it's neurochemical currency, and your brain treats it like gold. On the court, this effect is massive. A player hits an ace down the tee on break point at the US Open. The crowd of 23,000 erupts. The scoreboard shifts in their favor. The opponent's shoulders drop. In that single moment, the player's brain isn't just registering a point won, it's registering a status upgrade in front of thousands of witnesses, broadcast to millions more. The dopamine hit is amplified by the social reward, and the memory is encoded more deeply because of it. Watch any Grand Slam final. The trophy lift, the standing ovation, the player holding the silverware above their head as cameras flash and the crowd roars. That's not just relief or happiness, it's the brain's reward system firing on every cylinder at once. Research by Scott Delgado in 2007 confirmed that social victories activate the same neural circuits as monetary rewards, but with even stronger emotional weight and longer-lasting satisfaction. This is why players talk about the energy of the crowd, why home court advantage is real, why a hostile stadium can break you, and a supportive one can carry you through 5 sets. Your brain is evolutionarily wired to care about your standing in the tribe. Tennis puts that standing on public display, point by point, game by game. Every cheer is a signal that you're winning the social game, not just the tennis one. Mirror neurons. Why watching feels like playing. Why do you flinch when a player hits a 100-mile-per-hour forehand? Why does your heart race during a tiebreak you're only watching on a screen? Why do you feel exhausted after a 5-set final you experienced from your couch? Because in your brain, you're not just watching, you're playing. In the 1990s, Italian neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti made one of the most important discoveries in modern neuroscience. He found mirror neurons, brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you watch someone else perform that same action. His 2004 paper in Annual Review of Neuroscience showed that your brain simulates observed actions as if you were doing them yourself. It's not metaphorical, it's literal neural firing. When Rafael Nadal winds up for his signature banana forehand, that heavy topspin shot that loops high and kicks up off the clay, fans in the crowd unconsciously tense their muscles, lean forward, and brace for impact. Their mirror neurons are firing in sync with his. When Serena Williams coils for a serve, viewers at home feel their own shoulders rotate. When a player dives for a volley, you hold your breath. This is why watching a great match feels so visceral, so exhausting, so emotionally draining. Your brain doesn't passively observe the tension, the strategy, the impossible winners. You get a secondhand dose of the dopamine from the winners, the cortisol from the pressure, the flow from the rallies, and the social reward from the crowd, all without stepping on the court. A 2009 review by Christian Kaisers and Valeria Gazzola confirmed that mirror neuron systems are especially active during high-stakes, emotionally charged moments. That's why the best matches feel like they're happening to you. Your brain treats observation like participation. Every rally is a neurological simulation. Every winner is a shared high. Every comeback is a story your brain lives through as if it were your own. Tennis doesn't just engage your body, it hijacks your brain's deepest reward systems and doesn't let go. Whether you're playing or watching, your brain is hooked. That's the hidden science. That's why tennis is so addictive. If you want to continue enjoying more tennis, click on our next video here. Thanks for watching.